Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're calling us from. Your girl is back from the vacation. Yeah, I know last week we wanted to have this program, so I thought I was going to have it right in my hotel in my vacation space. So I planned towards it until there was an event that crawled into that time. I'm like, okay, we can always come back to connect and reflect. Let me quickly enjoy this. So that was how we went the last time. That was how we didn't get. And also for my fans, okay, yeah, the baby got a renewed ring at him. So Val renewed, and she has a ring now. So if you don't see this ring on me, ask me, where is your ring? Okay, because I got a new ring now. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? How's the week going with us? How is summering here? And how is the rain back in Nigeria? How are we coping? And I know we're in the season of Agbado. I love Agbado so much. But we're still, we've not gotten our own first. Though it's in the market, but it's still a bit expensive. So how are we doing? Like the topic we had last week, we still want to dwell on that topic, which is a lot of people are struggling with that issue, the issue of infertility. I would like us to first agree that a lot of people are on TTC, they're trusting God, and what they go through, their emotions can never be invalidated. That feeling is real. The feeling of you want a child you can call your own. You want, to have an offspring. You want something to come out of you. So everybody wants that space, that thing you can call your own. And I know a lot of people fight it to get into that. So I will also believe that today we'll be talking about the addition, how to get an addition to your family. A lot of people want to go through IVF. A lot of people want to go through surrogacy. A lot of people want to go through adoption and C-section in Nigeria. Many of our people, I don't want to call them men now, don't understand what we struggle to get it here. You see a woman who go through C-section as if she's not complete, she's not woman enough, she's not like a mate or like a colleague, and want to discriminate against them. We thank God that we are having this sensitization around it, that our men knows better now, especially about CS. So the same way now we know better about CS, I want us to, continue that engagement, continue that sensitization on other parts of fertility issue, which is adoption. Adoption is also good. Most men may not understand what adoption is all about. Like, they don't understand that it is not theirs, and they don't want to associate with that child because it is not biological theirs. But it could also be a way to own your own child. The moment you adopted that child legally, that child has become yours. So it's more or less like birthing a child. The only difference between adoption and birthing a child is because it didn't come through you, but you have the right over that child, and the child has the same right with you, the same way every biological child would do. So it's still a process of addition to the family. It's still a process. That child will serve you the same way your biological child would do. So we need to encourage, create more awareness on it, like I keep saying, create more sensitization around it. Same thing with IVF. A lot of people are not proud to say I did IVF. When are we going to get into that space that we can boldly beat our chest that, oh, I had this baby through IVF. I went to hospital. It's a disease, it's a problem, and I got a solution. I got a medication, and the medication I got for my fertility is IVF. We need to go back to that space whereby we see IVF as another option of getting a child, another option of getting pregnant. Let's not leave this burden on women that, oh, you cannot have a child by yourself, and you make them feel like they're not doing enough. If you have the money, if you're in that capacity, please opt for IVF. I say sometimes that if you have money, like enough money to cater for all of this. There shouldn't be any reason why somebody who has money should be infertile. I understand that it is expensive. It is very, very expensive. But if you have the means, if you can put money together to build a house, as much as we talk about the economy is terrible, if you can put money together to build a house, you can put money together to get a surrogacy, to get IVF done, to get adoption and CS session done, to get a, in any way you just want to have your child. The point is you have the one you can call your own. And what other surrogacy too? Now surrogacy is now everybody's opting out for surrogacy. Get a donor, get egg donor, get a sperm donor, then go into surrogacy or IVF, as the case may be. A lot of people still do not understand it. So we need a lot of people are educated. They went to school. They know it. They are lettered. They are learned, but they don't understand how surrogacy works. They still feel that since the child did not go through their mom, that means their own wife, it believes that that child is less of a human. I don't understand where that narrative is coming from. As educated as you think you are, and you still don't want to like a child because the child does not come through through your wife. No, that doesn't make the child less. So these stories and this conversation boils down from the rumor. I keep saying it's a rumor. Let's assume, and for it to be a rumor, that means there's iota of truth, maybe in this person's case, but in other men's case, that a child born through surrogacy or through IVF, maybe their father may not like them, unlike the one they went through, their mom they pushed out. I don't know if it is true. So that means, let's assume that Biola's husband did not say all of this we're saying. But for people to suggest that it could be, that means it is also an issue that needs to be addressed in our society. For anybody to have thought of it, then it needs to be addressed. And that is why we are bringing this topic to you. Like, will you ever allow your wife to go through surrogacy? If your wife is going through infertility, will you allow her get help? Will you allow her go through surrogacy? And if yes, will you like the child as yours? These are many more we'll be discussing today. So these are many more we'll be discussing. I don't know what happened. Poor wireless connection. I've tried to see my network here. My network is good. So it's just the net. So these are many more. If your wife does not have the strength to carry a child to full time or cannot, will you adopt surrogacy IVF if you have the money? Or you rather jump another woman who you think is cheaper, is safer, hurt your wife than getting help, getting medical help? Because I agree that fertility is a disease, infertility is a disease that needs medication, and there are so many medications for infertility, which adoption is one of it, which IVF, going through IVF is one of it, through surrogacy is one of it. So are we ready to adopt medication? Are men in that space yet? Or we need more sensitization, we need more awareness so that they know that a child born of surrogacy, born through surrogate mother, through IVF, or any artificial insemination is still a child. Hi, you're welcome, Mr. Ajasheg.
Hi, good afternoon. Happy weekend to you.
I don't know why you are doing this to us. You are telling us about your album. You kept us waiting and you've not dropped it. So now you make us watered and like, when is it going to drop this thing? Drop it, let's jump on it.
Yeah, it will soon be out. It will soon be out. It's
But I like how
basically,
you're, prompting us to it and telling us, the stories behind it. Thank God you're in a safer place now.
yeah. Thanks to people like you, right? So it's going to be part of the story. And yeah, there's one of the tracks that I can't wait for you to listen to it. I think there was a
Oh,
reference. There's a reference to dairy in it, so they have
Oh,
to participate.
this is what. Thank you so much. So you're welcome to Connect and Reflect again. Last week, Saturday, your girl was on vacation.
Wow. We're
Your girl
enjoying.
was
We're
enjoying
enjoying your
life.
life.
She was
We're
on water.
enjoying. Right? Good. Really good. Good to take a
So I'm
break.
like, okay, we need that break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So today we're talking about couldn't make it last week, so we want to jump on that topic again because I don't just want it to slide. Talking about surrogacy, IVF, adoption, and their younger sister is cessation. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what happened to our men because probably they have not validated the pain, the agony women go through to be fertile. Even the one that have, got pregnant and delivered, it doesn't come easy like you guys just think, oh, just pop it out.
Mm-hmm.
So let me first ask, will you allow your wife, if had if she had infertility issue, to go through surrogacy, IVF, adoption, if you have the money?
Of course. Yeah. It's something I would allow. But if I was asked that question like a couple of years ago, I'll probably have said no. And that no would come from a place of lack of understanding. And the yes now from a place of understanding. I still think that even till now, I don't really have 50% knowledge of what um, surrogacy and IVF is. Of course, there's this layman interpretation of it, but I
Mhm.
still is say something that is fully. But of course, I have the knowledge of it. I can, and I think most of people, I think it's not really widely accepted because people do not really understand, what it is like, So because of that, there's still a lot of people who don't accept it, who don't believe it, and they just feel like um it's not their child. Even the woman, you know even for some women, right? People, I had a friend who's had about a couple of kids, and the first few ones she had through natural birth, and the last one, um it wasn't the natural birth. And she, when I tried to pick her brain, she stated that the experience is not the same. The So because of that, sometimes within her, even though she's unable to let it out within her, sometimes she's partial with the way she cares for them. She cares for those ones that she really went through, deep pains for, sometimes more than the one that she bettered through IVF. And you can't blame her for that. That's biology. And that's where I feel like the education comes in, where we need to actually explain to people that God gives us the knowledge to actually simplify processes. And what the scientists have been able to do and the medical practitioners have been able to do is to find a way to say, okay, the woman does not really have to go through that labor. Even though if you take it from a religious perspective, right? Some people will tell you that it's against what God, really wants. God is actually the one that cursed the woman with the pains of labor. So if somebody is trying to do that, but okay, all that comes from the perspective of education. So if you ask me now if I would love my woman to do IVF, surrogacy, any of that, of course, I'm really open to that.
Talking about woman cause the woman to go through pain. It's another woman going. It's not free. It's not that nobody's going through pain. It's just another woman going through the pain. Like surrogate is that surrogate mother is going through the same pain. It's just that we had an agreement that you're here to help me. I can't carry it by myself. Can you please help me? So that's just what. So we buy the idea of buying sperm, buying egg if your woman does not have egg or does not have, or probably, okay, you are not a man here. I'm like, will you support the idea of if you think that you have a low sperm count, or will you buy the idea of buying a donor sperm or donor egg to birth a child? Will you still call
Yeah,
the child yours?
you see, that's where I I draw the line with the knowledge. I still feel like my knowledge is not that grafted yet, because the idea that most of us have is that surrogacy is another woman carrying your child, but it's still both of you's biological child. Now, if your semen is not involved, if you have to buy another man's semen, I'm not sure if it is still your own child biologically. Of course, because you're footing the bill and all, we can say it's your child. But if it's another man's semen, is it my child? If it's not my child, of course, there are feelings that may not come naturally, as much as I'm the one, taking care of the bills and all. And if it's not your egg, if it's another person's egg, biologically, is it your child, right? There are some of those things that they are just legal antecedents that we're throwing around, but the biological part of it, if you run DNA, will the person's DNA match to mine? For me, as much as I say I have information on it, if whatever process that we're passing through does not say that the biological child is actually mine, I may not be able to go through it. Of course, I'm open for adoption. Adoption is not a big deal. I'm open for adoption. But here's the thing: adoption is after you have been able to find out. As Africans, adoption is not an idea that we totally accept. Adoption is not an idea that we never even accepted it from day one, because we believe that, in fact, there's an adage in Yoruba that says that if you find a peaceful home, a home that is going smoothly, it is because the adopted child, of course, or the bastard child. The bastard child is the word that was used in that adage, which I didn't want to use, but the child that is actually not his father's child has not actually grown up. And you can see after the case of Obi Kubana, where the boy he adopted came out to say that he's next of kin, a lot of people began to, go back to the real reason why we did not really fancy adoption. Okay, I know you have something a different opinion to it. You can shoot.
No, I'm not in that space. So the problem, what I see, like, this is a bank. Every person dropped something there. They don't go back to say that, oh, where is my sperm going to? No. So you pick it because you do not have enough, and you pick it. At that moment you are buying it, it has become yours. So whatever you break from that sperm is yours, because you will raise the child from cradle to adulthood. And what biological children, if you raise the child well and you show all the emotions, all the support there, and all the love, whatever those people with biological children will do for you, will do to you, is what that child will do. Talking about bastard things because you don't raise such child well, because you had that differences right from the beginning. You had that child, that this child is not mine, and you are not raising that child with so much love. You are not raising the child well. You keep reminding the child is not yours. Then that is why the bastard will show himself. But if you raise a child with no emotions, with no drama on your mind, that this child is mine, and you raise the child the same way you raise your biological children, that child will serve you like a biological child. That's what I
Yeah,
see.
so
So it's a
this
thing of the mindset.
no, it's not. Biology is not the thing of the mindset. Biology it involves the gene
So
that
what
the
do you
person.
need? What do you need DNA for?
Yeah, DNA exactly is to show that the
What do you
person is
need
not.
it? Like when I'm asked for DNA, like when the DNA is matching, what's it for? It's a thing of the
Yeah,
mindset to say it is mine. Whether in DNA it is not yours, so far the child lives with you. And the owner is not coming back for it because the owner did not even know where the child has gone to. You get what I mean?
look, there are a lot of nitty-gritty in this whole system that actually has showed that there are loopholes that can be expected. I personally would not go to sperm bank. I would rather go get an adoption. I would not allow
Imagine,
my.
look at you.
Yeah, it's better to go to get an adoption, knowing that.
So
Yes,
you are just trying to be mean that this child will not be mine, I will not be my wife's own. So let's just
no,
go and pick, let's be fair. Instead of
no, that's not the
that
case.
selfishness. If she can
Look at that's not the case. If she can bet, of course, she can bet a. I'm not even going to keep a woman who can. If I find out that peradventure I can't bet a child and the woman can bet a child, honestly, I'm not going to keep her. That would be
you let
selfish.
her go.
Yeah, let her go and be with someone who can, biologically bet a child with her, because
And the
we
same
are.
thing with women. So I'm not trying to make it look like a man thing. It's also with a woman. If your husband has a sperm and you do not have enough egg, or probably your egg cannot fertile the child, you can go buy an egg.
No, women are not really that considerate. Especially, you see, women that don't have womb as a result of their escapades in their earlier years. You know, they died there. But that's not where I'm going to. One of the most popular stories that I have, yes, they died there. They died there. And look, for better for worse. And the man actually does not have anything. Look, I've seen the story. I think one of the stories I shared. There's an echo from your end. Because you're muted. So one of the stories I shared about spam banks and why I would not even allow my loved ones to go to a spam bank is a woman who particularly who went and picked, you know, a sample from a spam bank and actually conceived the child from there, right? And she was an homosexual at the time. She was with a woman and they agreed together. I think I shared that story to you to get a spam bank, to get a spam. And they did, they conceived a child. But eventually, I think after 1 year, the the other woman who they conceived the child together from, right, decided that she wasn't having the child anymore and she decided to break up and left. And after she left, right, this woman, through the spam bank, looked for the information of the man who donated the spam, sued him to court for child support, and the court awarded.
Who
And I
gave
will
him
say,
that? So who gave him that info? Who gave her that
yes,
information? So
see,
that
this
person
is the
is in breach of
information.
contract. You're
The
not expected to
information,
give info about the spam you're using.
yes, but the truth is that the information is not is actually there. The information is there. It's just that they are telling you that it's confidential. If the recipients can press enough buttons, they will get access to that information. So the thing is, the risk is much. The biological father of the person who you picked up their egg or their semen is actually alive somewhere. And if fortune changes for them and they become multi-millionaires, they can actually be able to money exchange fingers. Especially in our ecosystem, they will actually be able to find out where their biological child is. So it's safer to actually adopt than to actually go and
You need more orientation. You are still far behind.
of course,
So
I
you
agree.
you and
Unfortunately,
the super.
see, I agree. Unfortunately, as Africans, even when you even have a child with true surrogacy, right, that is biologically yours, your extended family would probably always see that child as not yours. Especially if you are a man, right? Because they only see the woman that carried that child. Sorry, am I still audible?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. What am I showing?
Yes. So I'm saying that even after you have a child through surrogacy, that you collected your semen and you collected your wife's eggs, and you guys use a surrogate mother and you guys actually have the child, you still have to convince Africans, Nigerians, that it is actually your biological child. Because even you yourself, a part of you, if you are not properly educated, right, a part of you still feels like, is this child really mine? Oh, you understand? So there's still a level of education that needs to go in there. So now, how much more? Now convince, somebody that did not take a semen at all, took another person's semen, and then there's talking biology in them. You are saying the biology, even the child that you bettered through yourself. That's why our culture has a lot of role to play in who we are. Unfortunately, we cannot throw it out, right? When when the child is misbehaving and the child is not doing well, they say that when the child is misbehaving, they'll start calling the child bastard. Why do you think they call some children their mother's children when they are not doing well? Like, people do not literally know what they say when they say if the child fails in school or if the child is not doing well. Or there's this popular Yoruba song that says that Tomodeba wa buruku wani ya elobi. Why do you think they say it's the mother that bettered the child? It's because they want to believe that they don't know where the semen come from. Maybe she has gone to the cement bank, or maybe she had come, but it's not even the cement bank that has been talked about here. It is adultery that has been talked about here. So now, for us to want to be able to come together and now accept that, taking the samples from the cement bank and then it feels the same as being my biological, I will not father a child except through adoption. That is not my biological child. It's a
So
personal.
if you can father a child through adoption, why can't you father a child through sperm donor? It's still the same thing. The only difference, like the mother too, is not the mother, is not carrying the child. So if you can love a child from adoption, then you should also be able to love the child from sperm donor.
Super is asking how much is semen sold.
Come on. Super, don't finish me.
Okay, so
Oh, you
basically,
want to start your own super?
you said that it's the same, but we don't even I don't even think it's the same. And the truth is that I don't even anybody I think it is ridiculous if I don't even think we can do it as Africans. If a woman can conceive, man cannot conceive, and then we go to the semen bank. Do you know how the semen bank was actually, started? Do you know how it was started? It was started when some selected set of people decided that okay, they want to start breeding um high value humans. So they were trying to manipulate genetics. So they took genetics into consideration, right? So they look at you as a man, they look at your height, they look at your physique and all that, and they want to take your semen. They look at you as a woman, they see how beautiful you are, they see that you have a sonorous voice and all, and then they want to take your egg. It started as an experiment. So, and then it continued as a business when women wanted to start birthing children for some different purposes. So somebody now decided to open a semen bank where they advertise some certain physical traits that they want in a man. That if you are 6 feet or you're 7 feet tall and you are this, you're that, your blood group is AA, this is that come to our sperm bank, we will buy. Super. So you may not be eligible if you're not up to 7 feet tall for you to sell it.
Super is not tall. He's not tall.
that's
Both of them
that's
are almost
that's
the same stature.
that's a joking thing. So, but that's how it came about. So, for you to now convince a man now that instead of adoption, his wife should just go and purchase a sperm as Africans, for me, it's a no-no.
Don't worry, we'll get there. You keep saying as African, we'll sensitize you, we'll
We
educate you on
won't
it.
get there. We won't get there. We should not
You
get
will
there.
get there. The same way our celebrities have started it, and it's get to all of you. Iniedo did not have husband. She went to buy sperm done. She went to buy sperm. And she's doing well with her child now. Nobody's
That's
claiming that child
understandable.
from her.
If I don't have a wife, in fact, that's one of my long-term plans. If I'm unable to really, have a wife, find bone of my bone, my long-term plan is to find a surrogate and give her my, that's a fantastic plan. As long as it's one party that is involved. The example you gave is one party that was involved.
But what I mean is like, okay, one party is involved, but she's doing all that child. She doesn't care whether she has a father or not. And in your own case, you want to give your sperm to who? To surrogate mother to be the mother, right? You just marry the surrogate mother. Just marry her. Because unless you
No.
want to go and buy egg too.
Yes, buy eggs. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Anyways, we'll talk about the cultural part of it and the society perception. No, even we are even talking about partner. We've not talked about in-laws and the society. What would the in-laws say when they say that? Are you going to will you be able to bold enough to say my baby was from donor? That I'm sick because when you don't have an egg or you don't have a sperm, that's a sickness, and I needed a solution to have a child, and I bought it. Can you boldly tell your family members about it, or friends and family, or publicize it that you got your baby through a donor because you have low sperm or you don't have egg?
Because that particular method is not totally acceptable here. That's one of the reasons why even our celebrities that go through that route, they keep it as they make it a very well kept secret. And that's why when the secret comes out, people tend to jump on it and they tend to see it as a big deal. Of course, it's not a big deal, but it's not an information that people want to begin to throw out there. You understand? Surrogacy it makes people start rumors that the the person does not have a womb. There are different rumors that comes out of it. You understand? And as Africans, these are things that really matters that we care about. And even for extended family, especially families who they 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 really cherish, what their lineage carries. Even these kids that we're talking about, they will not be accepted in royal homes. Unfortunately, do you know royal homes? Royal homes, there are already so many criteria for you to even, be selected as a king and all. And when you now go and say you now go and do XYZ, people will not totally accept you as that. And as Africans, it's even part of one of the problems that we have, of course, even in our political scene, where a man will be said that he's not a real Nigerian. That's why he cannot contest. In fact, some of them they will say the one of the contestants, his descendants were from Cameroon. You understand? And no, imagine if you are not from Nigeria, you want to contest for a political post, you are not from Nigeria, your descendants are not from Nigeria, and then you were bettered through surrogacy, or you were bettered through they bought your semen. They could say that your real father is Lawson or your real father is from Jamaica or something. These are things that nobody wants to go through. So that's why I'm saying that the education needs to be thorough. It still needs to be hard. I'm not against it. There's some part of it that I would personally not do, right? But I'm not against it.
Sincerely, all of you in that space, we need to take you to a school and lock you up and educate you. Sincerely, I'm trying to be in your headspace. I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but I still don't get it. That if we have
You don't get
enough,
it.
I don't get it because we are still, this conversation is not from the place of we know what we want. We are still talking like we are still in that cultural and traditional way of doing it. We are talking about advanced world. The world is advancing. Nobody should be without a child. There are so many ways you can get a child. Those people we are talking about, these traditional people, do they have other means of getting you a child rather than calling the gods and put water in your belly and still do baby factory for you? At the end of the day, they'll just run and during delivery they give you a baby that we don't know even where it's from. So what I'm saying is surrogacy, we are there yet. We are there, but not there like a child born of surrogacy. When you know that it's your egg, it's your sperm, you know it's your own child. Somebody's just housing it for you. The IVF, you know it's your egg, it's your whatever. Adoption, you know that this one is not kukuma, but you know that it's going to serve you. And the moment, like, the adoption is a process of exchanging something, like, I'm buying this child and it's going to be mine. And I'm ready to treat it like mine. But the idea of one party buying sperm, one party buying egg is what you don't agree yet, right?
Exactly. Even the idea of adoption has totally been it's not been accepted totally, despite how advanced. I know when you know the gospel of adoption was started being preached. I was way younger then, and it's almost 30 years after, and it's still not accepted. Why? And the proof is that a lot of motherless babies homes are still out there. Nobody has gone to adopt, or even children, people who cannot be able to actually conceive biologically. They have not gone to adopt it. So that's how you know that it will probably not be totally accepted. The idea of surrogacy, especially in a culture and in a community where um, some certain set of people believe in polygamy. So if they find one woman who is not able to produce, that's a very fantastic excuse for them to go into polygamy. You understand? So that's why I'm saying that I don't know, I'm not sure, but I don't think that we will get into a space where it's going to be totally accepted. That will be. We know it's a white man thing. The white man started. Some of the people, when I was reading about surrogacy and the reason why some people started the art of surrogacy and all, and they started egg planting implant rather. I read that some women did not really like the idea of having to go through that long labor and then the effects of that labor on their body. You understand? Some women did not really want it. So because of that, that's why they started employing those alternative ways of birthing children. So there's no how you're going to sell that to an African. There's no that as a woman that you sell that to an African, especially if you're even a fertile woman. Of course, for a woman who cannot conceive and all, you can find alternative means, but there are still a lot of issues with the whole idea that needs a lot of education if we are to be convinced that, okay, it's the way to go.
So now, let's talk about the religion part of it, the religious part of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the religious part of it. Like, can we, after having tried through surrogacy, IVF, whatever scenario, or C-section, C-section sometimes look like you are not a Hebrew woman, you are not all alone as a woman to push your baby out by yourself. They have to cut you. And can we boldly say to church or thank God and talk about surrogacy, IVF, adoption? Will our pastors be happy, or probably will our faith be in effect if we say we have a child through surrogacy? Why can't we continue to wait on the Lord? Are we in a haste to get to help God? Because this looks like we are helping God. So, what does the religious belief and perspective about this way of family addition?
Yeah, of course. For us to be able to get that sermon across, in fact, first of all, it's a difficult sermon to preach in Islam. Anybody that is going to learn that is going to even be open to do that in Islam will be extremely wealthy and extremely educated on the subject matter, right? And then you see, for us Christians, we believe that the Bible is our constitution, and anything that is not in the Bible is not acceptable. All right. For the new generation churches, they can preach it. It's going to be hard for you to tell the old generation churches that this is what you want to do. Their pastors are going to keep you waiting by telling you that you need to hope on God. Don't you have faith in God? They're going to keep you waiting on that. And of course, they have some viable points in that regard. If you look at women who typically don't want to, who want to go into those alternative ways of birthing a child, right? There's this typical stereotype that we all have. Everybody has it. Once you hear that a woman, has tried for years and couldn't get it done, there's a typical stereotype that comes to our mind, right? And that stereotype also exists in the church. And if that stereotype exists in the church and all, it may be difficult for the pastor to pick that alternative, you know. So the solution to that also is that there needs to be education in the church also. There needs to be education, maybe starting from the pastor to see that, look, it's just God giving us knowledge and we using the knowledge to simplify our lives, and we're going from there.
And when people should be bold enough when they're having testimony. So I was talking to one of my sisters who went through cancer, and she said something during one of her interviews with me. And she said, if people can boldly say, I have a headache, if you ask them why, you say, oh, I have a headache, oh, I have typhoid, why can't she say I have cancer? So she can't continue to hide her status, and she talked about it freely, that she's a cancer patient. She's a cancer patient, and now she fought it and she fought it well. So now, can people just boldly say, oh, well, thank God I had this baby through surrogacy. We thank God I had this baby through IVF. And we don't look at them with one bombastic side as if they are impatient. Let me put that, because Bible talks about patience, like faith, substance of things hoped for. We should continue to hope for it.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is there is a time when anybody will be bold enough to say these things, these examples that you gave, the testimonies in the open. Even if you are a cancer survivor, nobody wants to get into the same pool with you. Most people will not want to get into the same pool with you. There's a stereotype that's always there. So let alone in fact, once you even say that you did surrogacy and all, even in the church, once you give that testimony, there is this judgment that typically comes. You understand? That's why I keep saying that it should be the last resort. If it's the last resort, then you got nothing to be ashamed about. You got nothing to be worried about. But if it's not the last resort, the people will stereotype you um and say that you have an issue. That's why, you understand. So
So now, what are the medical and legal considerations for individuals? If you know somebody who is struggling with childbirth, which of these will you suggest? Like, what is going to be your first suggestion?
Yeah, of course. The first solution is to find medical means to heal yourself. Infertility has solutions, right? Infertility has solutions. So and they have treatment, there are herbal treatment, there are medical treatments to it. Seek those solutions until you are able to. Maybe you've been given a diagnosis where the person cannot be able to conceive, then you can seek alternative method of conceiving. And there's no one I would recommend. Anyone that suits you best is what you should take. There are women who can adopt, who's been able to adopt. There are women who will decide that no, I don't just want to adopt outrightly. I want to do surrogacy. You know, there are men who would also adopt. There are men who would probably say, well, I don't know if there are men out there who would go and ask their woman to buy semen, but I know that most of the men, and you know, it's been portrayed in our movies that they would rather go adopt rather than go and take another man's semen, you know. So those are the solutions out there, but I still feel like there still needs a lot of education. By the time more light is being shed on it, we'll probably have more men who will come out and say, no, I'm never going to take another man's semen. In fact, most Africans will never allow their woman take another man's semen. So yeah.
You don't have, and you don't have one. It's not that you have your own, they ignore your own and pick another person. You don't have. Why don't you understand that you don't have? And you should just stop living in denial and accept that you don't have. And you wish your wife well. You want to have a child, and your wife is like, okay, I'm not marrying someone else who has. I want to walk this journey with you. Okay, let's go and buy. We have the money. What's adding
It's
that? I don't understand why
yeah, technically it's infidelity,
it's not.
right? Technically it's infidelity because another man's semen has impregnated the woman. Bring it on, you can argue it, but technically it's infidelity.
How is that infidelity? Did I sleep? Did I share emotions with that person? I'm only buying. It's just like, okay, it's just like I want to buy TV from you. The moment the TV gets to my hand, it's mine. You don't have it anymore.
The same argument can be had if the man is the one giving another woman semen. If he was able to give another man semen, right? Technically,
So the difference is I don't know who the owner of this cement, and I don't care who the owner is. I'm not here to share emotions. But the one you guys do, you share emotions. The problem women have with you having another child or giving donor sperm to another woman is because you share emotions in the course of it. Emotion
not
is the problem
necessarily.
of women, not that
No,
you
not
share sperm.
necessarily. Not necessarily. You don't necessarily have to share emotions. You can donate semen to another woman that will conceive your child biologically and say that, you know, she only took my semen, we did not share emotion, you know. There is always
I
a
don't know this person. If we can get an egg from a bank, I won't care too if I don't have. So far, the woman is not going to come out in the following day and say, that's my egg, that's my child. I think if that is covered, I don't have a problem with it. I will love the child like mine because that child is mine at that moment.
not biologically though.
But it's mine. I will take care of the child and the child will take care of me. What's the sense of even birthing a child? What's the point? What's the point of birthing a child? Why do we birth children?
It's to
Whatever
keep
reasons we birth children, I will enjoy the same privilege with adopted one or with one I got with the egg. I will enjoy the same, benefits.
but the father
So
would not enjoy.
what is it?
The father that did not donate the semen will not enjoy the same benefit.
If you carry the baby every day, you go love the baby. You know the love baby where you not be your own, so you go see for streets. Just carry baby. I'm like you, like I wish the baby is mine. You've
Yeah,
not had that feeling.
but he must not need the baby to donate kidney for him in the future.
I shake my head for you men. But this conversation, thank you to my sister that said fear men all corn. Hello, super. Mufeta super. Oh goodness. Super, we are not looking for. We don't want to know you. Which I see me for say. Everything the banjoni. Am I back in jail? Am I market in jail? But on a serious note, I see nothing bad in picking an egg or picking sperm or somebody carrying your baby if you really desire it. So far, they will hand the baby over to you and nobody's struggling ownership with you. See, if nobody's struggling ownership with you, I see no problem with that. The problem I have is ownership. Like, this child is mine. Don't come back tomorrow. I say it's now yours. So if I will not come back, whatever legal way you want to put it there, you're not coming back. I'm ready to have the child.
Yeah, I agree too. But still not your child biologically. It still does not carry
Okay,
your
what do
DNA.
you want to use biology do?
DNA.
What do you want to use that DNA do? You go give you money.
No.
So what do you need that DNA for? Like, what is the purpose of DNA?
Like nobody can come in the future and say that.
So if you assure me that nobody's going to come back for adoption, then it's my DNA. I don't need the DNA. I don't need the blood. So why is red? I need it to be red. So that's red. It's okay.
Nobody can come in the future and say he's part of our family tree.
If
He's not.
nobody will come back in the future and say that child is theirs, I'm okay to have the child.
Yeah, but the child actually has biological father somewhere.
So that's what I'm saying. If the father is not coming, if the mother is not coming, I'm okay with
Yeah,
the child.
well, if typical African system and the African movie, what then happens is one day the child will
Leave
get to a
typical
stage.
African
Well,
nonsense.
I can't leave it. I
It's
can't leave it.
because they are
The child will
not,
grow to a stage
because
where she will now
it's not
begin.
legally backed up.
She will begin to be the one, or you will begin to be the one to start looking for, Yes, exactly. I can give you one fantastic movie that I think we talked about it the other time. The child grew up, even though she has all the care, started looking for a real father.
It is the Lord raising the child that matters, not the DNA, or no, it is my DNA, it is my blood, it's biology. Which one is biology do?
Then you are not really recent. You are not really up to date with recent happenings in the society.
I'm not ready what?
The love is not all that matters.
For me,
DNA.
it's the love that matters, that this child, and whether here or in future, if you assure me with that child.
Yeah, well,
I will go anywhere with that child. I will treat the child like mine, which is already mine.
yeah, well, I'm speaking on behalf of all men. DNA matters.
So for the what do you need the DNA for? Please educate me
Yes,
what you need
in the
that
case
DNA for.
where we cannot, conceive, adoption is okay. Then using another woman's egg is also okay.
But you just want it to be because men are natural. Let me join. Let me pack all of you. Some men are selfish. You don't mind you being the sperm donor, your wife gets an egg. But when your wife has egg, but getting the sperm is what you don't like. Is that not what you're saying here now?
Don't you think that it's so selfish for a woman to decide to use surrogacy just because she wants to avoid the pains of labor?
Mostly that is selfish, but most of the time people that adopt surrogacy is because they cannot carry it. Nobody, you will hardly hear people, or less people that want to abuse surrogacy, that will say because I want to keep my body, because I want to keep my career, or want flimsy reason for not carrying a child. Those are the people that abuse surrogacy. But if you see those people that really need surrogacy, these are the people that cannot carry it by themselves. And they can't help it that they can't carry it. It's not their fault that they can't carry it. It's how God created them. What do you want them to do?
Good. So we are agreed.
So we have agreed that getting a sperm when you don't have one is not a bad idea. That child is still yours. Getting an egg when you can't carry or you don't have one isn't a bad idea. So far, nobody's going to drag. This donor, they just donate and they don't look back.
On paper.
They don't look back. They donate and go. Like Super wants to donate now. Super will just donate and we ignore and look away. But before you donate, shall talk to your wife because I'll be the one. If you don't tell her, I'll be the one to tell her on your behalf.
I know, but if Super is not going to look back, why are we telling?
Because he will look back. This Super that I'm looking like, he will look back. Oh, what to fẹ́ dá ọmọ jọ sí ni? Ó kàn parọ́ bank donor ni. So, this question is: what if the case of the husband's sperm is not there, the wife's egg is not there? Yes, they can buy sperm, buy egg, put it in a surrogate mother, or if the woman can carry it, it's just that she doesn't have egg, put it back in her, then she'll carry the child and it's theirs.
Or they can adopt, because what they've just done is stress themselves instead of adopting.
It's the same thing. Yes, they can adopt too.
So make it make sense. Why do you have to go and buy this, buy that, when you can just pick baby that was just abandoned and infant?
Though one person in this case, this person narrated is two people having a problem. I will just solve the problem of two people. When one person in the marriage is having the issue,
two people in the marriage have a problem.
yes, that means the husband does not have enough sperm to fertilize an egg, or the lady does not even have an egg. That is the scenario Ashimi Temitayo created here.
Yes, I'm saying that two scenarios also they are married. So why can't they adopt?
Yes, they can. I just said it that they can adopt either way. Instead of
Good.
getting sperm, so they can adopt if that works for them. If that is easier and cheaper, okay, why not?
Okay, because
So it's the same thing.
all right.
And if it's just one person that has the problem, if the woman that does not have egg, then the man can get a donor egg and still that child will still be in the family. And the problem I have with people is whether men or women is they rub it on the other partner's face. If you do not rub it on their face that child is that egg is cuckoo not yours, or that sperm is cuckoo not yours, when you have misunderstanding, if you can manage, that's a level of therapy or counseling before they get to that space that on no account in your life will you rub it on another person's face. If you can do that, why not?
Even if you don't rub it on another person's face, ensure that the community doesn't know.
Even so, if the community know what's going to happen,
If the community knows, ensure that you don't. If the community knows, ensure that you don't pick fight with anybody in the community that knows. And also ensure that you don't plan to run for political positions. Just imagine that the newspaper carries and says that the person that is going to contest for governorship in your state is impotent. That all the 6 children are actually not his.
What has this impotency? No, what
What
has this impotency this to do with his position or office? Now that one won't use rights.
His child cannot even go and play football and fight with somebody. The guy will come back asking questions that.
Please, yeah, making me laugh over this topic, but it's not very
The guy will come back home and will say he wants to speak with you and he asks questions.
So Taya is saying something. Let me read what Taya says. Some women just want to have their own kids. If they can get eggs and their husband's sperm is intact, they will gladly carry it. Exactly. Women don't really have the problem. It's men, people like Ajashegu and Super, that are not there yet. He said, so if they go for surrogacy, and are you saying the child is not biological theirs? So since their sperm, the man's sperm is used, the lady's egg is used, it's biological theirs. So biologically it's theirs, and they can fight for any position. Their father, they will not say, you could go fight in your neighborhood.
Yeah, you still must be careful of how you fight with them. You can't prove it. Honestly, you can't prove. They will ask you to go.
Nobody's going to talk about it anymore because you just look like no Martin. Because now nobody says, "Oh, you were born through CS and rub it on your face," or use that to abuse. No, because you were born through CS, your life is different from the others. Nobody does that anymore. So we are going to be in that space that you see always a very different case anymore.
I agree. Ensure that your community does not find out.
Which is your community does not find out to God, I guess. Tayo, come and help me finish this guy. Let me pick you up. I'm sorry, I should have done that.
You keep it as much secret as possible.
Come and help me finish it. Because the future is you should not fight for any position. You should not fight in your community. You're welcome, Tayo.
Thank you very much.
So we're talking about surrogacy, IVF, adoption, and C-section. That's another way of getting addition into the family, apart from the traditional way most people get it. Those people that are struggling with fertility, they can also look for other options. And we talked about other options, and we are looking at how our society, especially men like Ajashiko and Super, now will take other options. For example, a man has low sperm. They have treated it medically and always the code was not yielding. Will he allow his wife get a donor? Or probably would they go into the other option of buying, sperm from the bank? I think that's the highlight. We all agree on the same space on surrogacy IVF. Or buying sperm and egg is what Ajashego and Super does not understand. And I know as a lady, you will help them here.
Okay. So to every person's the beauty of marriage to every home, plenty of the time is having children. All right. And it could be such a joy for a woman to have her own children. And if the woman cannot conceive, though it's not every woman that want to conceive in this modern day that we are talking about, but at least a lot of women, like 99.9% women, want to have their own child. So in a case where probably they have issue, or their husband has issue, or probably both of them have issue, or in a case where the woman cannot carry the pregnancy, she will rather go for surrogacy. Do you understand? And it's not because it is something she will gladly want to go for, but because situation has confined her into a place of surrogacy. All right. So, and sometimes just having a child of your own is a joy. It's no matter how this child come to be, so far this one is your own. And the thing is that some women want to have something they can kind of nurture. Women are nurturers actually by nature. So some will prefer to go for surrogacy, unlike adoption, in the sense that this child, they agreed that you let us carry it. Why? Because my wife cannot carry it. Then they watch it grow from a month to 2 months. And the thing about this surrogacy for a woman, it might be it might be different from men, but women attach emotions to everything, especially when it comes to sex and children. Our emotions to these two things are very, very high. The way women will not, except for Ashewo that has made up their mind that this one is for business, a woman wants to have sex for companionship, for love. That's why a woman would rather make love than have sex. And when it comes to children, this is my thing. There is a lot of emotion attached to it, that this is actually mine. So a woman will want to go for surrogacy in the sense that they could see that the pregnancy is growing. All right, the pregnancy is growing, and they can, like, this is my pregnancy. So if even though they can't carry the child, subconsciously they say, this my baby is growing in this person. And when the baby comes out, it's as if they did it, because they know the process through which this child is coming. And that is why it will be different completely, the relationship the woman will have with the child to what a man will have with the child. Because this one is mine. That is what a woman is saying, whether somebody else is carrying it for her or not, this, or she's carrying it for herself, like, this is mine. And when they have it, the joy that erodes, that comes on them, is second to none. Is second to none, you know. So that is why some people would rather a surrogacy. And I have when Ajashek was saying that, why not adoption? The thing about adoption is that you don't know the process of the pregnancy of this child. You don't know the condition by which he or she was given birth to. You just get there, get a child, and take home. Fine, when you adopt a child, you might likely say, okay, this is my child. But the fact that you don't know the process of the birth, there are times you like, why is this child behaving like this? Maybe because of ABC, maybe because of the parents that gave birth to the child, you know. So a lot of things come to play. But for something that you see grow, something you can say that, okay, this is how this one comes to be. This child was born and I received it, and you are able to train the child. You can certainly, the emotions are different. Fine, you will love a child that you adopted, because for every woman, we love children, but the emotions attached to them will be different. Just the way some people, after probably adoption or surrogacy, and they have their own child, they tend to kind of not love as much those children as their own, because the emotions on all these things, they differ. All right, so I think that should explain that.
So the second one we're talking about is, will you let if your egg is not fertilizing, or probably is not viable enough for pregnancy, will you support the idea of your husband bringing a suggestion that you go get an egg from the donor? Or do you think your husband will allow you, if he has no sperm, to go get a sperm from the bank? Or probably you have a sister, don't let bring it home. Let's just, probably you have a sister who's saying, my husband said, I'm suggesting my husband get his sperm from the bank. Will you agree?
All right, so if it is me, I don't know how it will be, sincerely, because I'm not in that shoe. That's the gospel truth. I'm not in that shoe, so I will not be able to tell if I can actually go through this process, or how desperate I can be. I don't know, because it's not happening to me. And as we speak now, I have my own children. But if someone comes to me with this kind of situation, I will encourage them to. Because it will be wicked of me to have what is giving me joy, and I will deny somebody else of it. So far, it is not against my religion. Go and take it. So
Hold on,
that is
let me
not
let me
against my.
rephrase the question, Tayo. If
Do
you have
do.
a guy who came to you telling you that his wife suggested that they get a sperm because that guy is not fertile, or that guy has low sperm count, and they've treated it and it's not working, and the wife is suggesting they go to the bank to get a child, and the wife is going to carry the pregnancy while the sperm is from the bank, would that still be the man's child? Because that's the argument.
Well, it will still be the man's child, but it depends on the man's view. It needs reorientating, all right? Because in this part of the world that we are in, as Nigerians, I've not been to other African countries. I don't know whether it is applicable, but in Nigeria, an average man does not consider such child their own. But depending on how much this person loves children, I've had cases where uh, husbands tell their wives to go sleep out and bring the child. I've had cases like that. All right. And when the child was growing up, well, probably when the wife eventually has the child, they will just realize that they leave that vicinity just to protect the image, of the child. I've had cases like that. Go and give your brother. Go and give goodness. Sorry, my baby is kind of disturbing. So the thing is, I can remember sometimes my mom was telling me that there is a couple that they just realized that this couple vanished from the streets. Of course they didn't read anything to them leaving the area. They didn't read anything to it until years later when they saw the child. I think somebody said they saw the child, and the child was looking like a particular man in that area. In fact, man has a questionable character, like he's an Agbero sort of. So when they had the conversation, they were like, is Abi the woman did Agbere? Maybe the woman committed adultery and just convinced the husband to leave the area. But later they got to realize that it wasn't the woman's idea, it was the man's idea. Spoke to this Agbero guy, explained his predicament to the guy, gave him some money, and allowed the man to sleep with his wife. So, because of the nature of the Agbero, Agberos can be very stupid. So the man left the area because he knows that the guy can turn around and start extorting him or start probably come back to
Blackmailing
come and
him.
kill his child or blackmail him. Yes, thank you. So he just left the vicinity completely and relocated. My mom said that she just kept her mouth shut. But the thing actually trended in their area for a while. Because how did they get to know it? Was the same Agbero that told them. It was the same Agbero that told them that this was what happened. So she realized that, wow,
Exactly, that was
if the man
Ajachegun's point that people
so,
will talk
so the man
about it.
actually realized that if he had not
Exactly.
left, that is what the Agbero would have done. My mother was like, thank God they even left. So if they had not left, this is what you would have been saying all around the area, that you impregnated somebody's wife, the husband. So that was how that thing left. I think after some years, I don't know, I think my mother says she saw the child or something, and she said that in all honesty, the child was actually looking like the Agbero guy. But the man accepted this child like his own. She even saw the child with the man, what not with the woman. All right. And we have had cases where such a thing, that for a man like that, the man would rather accept a sperm donor than go through this. Because now, I think now they bring men, they test them, hospitals test them, get their sperms, and the couple never get to see the donor of the sperm. All right. You just buy sperm and have your child. That way you don't have the stress of running helter skelter, that once somebody is going to come and knock your door and request for a child. All right. But the thing is that the truth is, men actually want what is theirs. Okay, men want what is actually theirs, but some relatively few men that want it desperately. They would. I have the case where they said that a particular man is rich in the East, that he married all the wives he's been marrying, he's been divorcing them because they are not having children. But the mother keep deceiving him that it was those women's fault and not his. Until he married this particular children, before she got divorced. And the mother had to go and meet this woman and tell her, you better go to the neighboring village and sleep with men and bring the child back. And she did that. She had 3 children for this guy. The man never knew. The children never knew. The secret was between the wife and the mother-in-law. Only for one of the children to, I don't know what happened to that one, and went to go and do DNA and realize that he's not the child of his father. And they realized that all of them were not the child of the father. And their DNAs are not even matching. I think one of them needed a donor or something. They called the mother, and the mother was like, had to spill the bean that this is what happened. And the man was a good father to the children. He never knew till he died. It was a secret between the mother-in-law and the mother. You know, the thing is that in those days, they make it look as if every infertility is a woman's problem, not the man's problem. And the women help them aid it by sometimes taking the hard pill and going out getting the child for the man. That is why somebody was saying that this thing that they are saying that do DNA, there are some adults, they will realize that they are never their father's children. You know, that is not out of promiscuity, but is out of keeping the integrity of a family. That was then, but now it's different. So let us not even go there. Now,
Sorry. Ajashegun
so
said,
I think for
sometimes you
some
don't fight
people,
on the street. Ajashegun,
You see?
you should not fight on
Yes,
the street, right?
I'm telling you. See, this and one of the issues I have with I like this lady's comment. Okay, Falashade, I don't think you saw it yet. Can
Yeah,
you
what
see
did
it?
you say? Yeah, my mom.
It
What
said
did she say?
if you think you will train, oh, she's the mom.
Yeah,
Fantastic. All right.
he said
So you
adoption
see,
is better than buying egg.
that's wisdom there. She said if you think you will train adopted child in your way, what of genetics factor? And then she finished it with this fantastic quote, right? She said, Omo Ajanaku ki n yara." What that means is that the child of a giant cannot be a dwarf. Then she finished that article by saying that Omo Teriba bi
Ewin
Erin
ló
lo
ń
man
jọ.
jo. See, and then you see the other challenge I have with
Is Ajashegun there? Oh
I think
no,
it's offline.
network took him off. Oh.
there is one in Nigeria, so you should expect that this period.
So you should know that my mom is the old school. Life has evolved. So mom is speaking from the old school and the traditional way of doing things. But now we have evolved. We don't do that. We have exposed. We can't continue to suffer what our mother has suffered. So the shepherd should understand that.
You know, Ajaxego is old school too.
I
So
know,
you
right?
can
And the
take,
shepherd is old school.
yeah, you can take a watching something out of something, where you cannot take something
Yeah,
out
you
of
cannot
somebody.
take something out of me.
So you are actually to that probably is the, and the truth is, in all honesty, an average person that has lived with old people will actually feel the way Ajapego is feeling.
Yes.
That's the truth, because there are things that we grew up to know, to understand, that there are cultures that have shaped our thinking. There are culture that has shaped our way of life. So it shaped the way we see things. So the truth is, anyone that would even go for the surrogacy would would probably have been romanced the Western world for a while. Because if you are brought up culturally, you will not agree to it. I heard of someone who one of the sibling spoke to our husband that we already have our children and I can still carry child, you can still give me head, so impregnate me for my sister. When we have this child, we will give it to my sister. This is someone who does not have a child, so she would have probably adopted done surrogacy, but she did not. She could not. So she had to take her sister's child, the one the sister bore, and change that one like his own, like her own. She and her husband, they had to change that one like her own. So these things, it's difficult for people that are culturally brought up to embrace situations like this. They had rather adopt, and even their adoption is not out of their family. It might be from nuclear or extended family. Probably look at a family who has too much, a auntie who has too much, a cousin who has too much, and cannot really take care of all their children, and you just adopt. And funny enough, there are no papers involved. You just take the child, you know, you just dash you children, child. Take this one since
Well,
you don't have, and
with that, at the end of the day, the child turned out well. Those parents are still coming back to enjoy, that relationship. When you were raising that child, they will push the child to you. Yeah, it's your child,
the
it's your
truth is,
child. But the moment
the
I
truth
watched
is
a
that
movie
the child
recently like
grows
that.
up. The truth is that if the child grows up, the child already knows that these people are not my biological parents. Because somehow, because it is family thing, the child would have heard that these people I am with, they are not my biological parents. So it is now left for the child to decide. And I've seen children deciding that these people that train me are going to be my parents. I've seen it. I've seen it. That it is the people that trained them that stood as their parents, not their biological parents. And the biological parents agreed to it. All right. Except for those ones that are actually very greedy, because you cannot factor that there are some people that are actually greedy. They're like, after my child has succeeded, you will now take my glory. But even at that case, they co-parent and stay. Like they co-parent and do the whatever it is. Are you there? Hello to you.
Oh, I was talking on mute. So,
Okay.
so I know we're not really there yet on other aspects and other options of, getting addition to the family. Though surrogacy, we are talking more about it now. A lot of people, they come out and say they are surrogates. They got their children through surrogates, and surrogate agencies are coming out too, telling people about the legal way to get, children. The IVF too, people are talking about it. Oh, after having their children, they talk about, I had 3 IVF before this one passed. I have 10, but and so C-section is not well acceptable now. Men understand it now that they don't just want their wives to die; they just want to have the children, whatever
This
way.
section, before people accept it, some people are still
Uh-huh.
even dying.
A lot of people have died.
Till now, people are still believing that C-section is demonic. When I had
Mm-hmm.
my last son, it was a CS. Somebody told me that, but this child is too small for you to have CS. Now that was what the person told me. And I was asking the person, don't you know my history? That I already had 2 CS. So you expect me to have to say, what is this one? That's something you just push and it just come out like that. The person told me to my face. That was when I was still in the hospital. This is not when I came back from, maybe I've healed or something. This was when I just gave birth to the child. Looked at the child, looked at me, and like, she's stylishly telling me that I was being lazy not to have pushed this
Yeah,
one
yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm. Now why
You
can't
know,
you push this
that is
by yourself? As if with
yeah,
the
that
pain you
was
will
what
not.
she was trying to insinuate. That you just want to waste your husband's resources and just being lazy. That what because the child was actually not big because of the complication I had. because of the yeah, let me just put it like that. So he was not even up to term yet, because it was just a bit, it was just 8 months when I had to do the CS. All right, because the doctor said I was actually sleeping on my bladder, and that was why I was feeling so much pain that if it's not being brought out, at he even had to wait till that time, because it was like he would have just removed him now, but I should just manage to move him to 8 months, so that at least to a large extent he will not require what is it called,
Incubation.
um
Incubation.
incubation. Yes, that should just try. So I had to move him. I know the pains I went through, and there you are, you came to the
Don't
hospital
mind
to
those
come and
people
check
that
me
have
for the first time.
a
I
lot of
look at
people have
the child,
careless
and
talks. They
somebody
talk
told my
carelessly.
husband, when my husband was telling the person that my wife is going to have CS, she said, God forbid, that I don't let her have CS, so that you pray for her, she will give birth by myself. I look by my husband that don't even have that conversation with me. Let her say whatever she wants to say and go. I don't have strength for conversation. So he was just nodding his head, like, African people, if they don't want to answer, they'll just be telling you that you are right, you are correct. What we want to do is in our mind, just say your own and go. You know, it's the way some people still see CS now is like it's they feel like it is demonic. It's it shouldn't be that a woman is being lazy for not being able to have her own child. I was counseling someone lately, and I was telling the person, because I know this person can probably have that notion too. When this person eventually got pregnant, and I had to tell her, CS is not a demon, it's not demonic. Oh, that so far you are able to have your own child, it's not demonic. In case you get to that point and they tell you that you cannot have the child by yourself, please. I was telling her, she's not even up to term yet, but I knew that this person might have this notion because of the person's background and all. You eventually have this pregnancy, so you should not go and kill yourself and kill the child in the process, because you are trying to preserve tradition or culture, whatever it is, or you think that CS is demonic. I had to tell her beforehand that in case it comes to this, don't pray it out. God is not wicked. CS is a medical intervention. If you cannot have the child by yourself, allow them to take CS. She was telling me some things. I was telling her that those scriptures you are quoting, they are not the way it is being said. It is the interpretation they gave to you that you are running with. So please, when the child cannot go through natural birth, I have to break the things down to the person, and like, if this child cannot go through natural birth, please allow them to perform a CS on you. So that is why you need to start preparing your mind for it. So I'm not saying that you are going to have CS, but if peradventure it is going to be that, please go for it, for the sake of the child and for the sake of your own life, so that you can be alive enough to take care of your child. That is, if they are even able to bring out the child alive safe. So I had to, like, educate this person, because the truth is, in this part of the world, we have not even fully, that is why all these conversations are important, in the sense that a lot of people have not fully embraced all of those things. That is the truth. A lot of people have not fully embraced all these things: CS, IVF, surrogacy. They've not, because of the kind of people that we have. So you can't totally blame them. They need orientation, or will I say reorientation, because we have actually been oriented that this is how a pregnancy process and delivery process should be. So having bringing something contrary is all. People that are adopted, they go through a lot too. They go through a lot too. Like, why are you not having your child? You be asking someone who is married 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and why you have not having your child, as if the person doesn't want to be pregnant. Some people cannot even go to family function. Just like, I thought you want to marry or be money. Like, they choose not to be pregnant and have children. So all these things, to some extent, though some of them are being accepted now, but not still widely accepted. That is the truth. So
Yeah.
I believe that as time goes on, we learn more.
We'll get there. May God help us. So I think that's all that we have for today's topic. So let us see other options. Surrogacy, IVF, adoptions, they are medication for infertility. So that's the best way I can put it. So if you think you are not physically, you are not healed, you are not there when it comes to fertility, seek help. So whatever your doctor suggests for you, take it gladly and be vulnerable and proud of it. So if you can tell your doctor you are sick and they give you medication, you have headache, you have typhoid, be able to say, I have IVF, I had surrogacy. So it shouldn't be a thing of to be ashamed of or to be able to testify. And feel free to fight in your streets. Nobody's going to abuse you. Feel free to fight in the streets or contest for any position. Nobody's going to abuse you with it. Don't mind that just shake. Thank you for that. What you've done today. Thank you for joining us, Tayo. Thank you, Adashego, and every other person that joined. Super Ashimi Timitayo and Yabumi. Thank you for joining us. God bless you.